Howdy all, this is Shane. Welcome to the In the Blues Tone podcast. We're firing off another one for the month of March because I really need to update everybody on what's going on with the links and so forth to the podcast. So if you listen to it on YouTube, things will still keep getting posted as per normal. If you listen via iTunes, that should all be working fine too. But I have changed my website URL. So if you do listen on the web and you used to go to guitarpedaldemos.com, that website still exists, but I'm in the process of dismantling some of that. So you'll go now to INTHEBLUESpodcast.com, which is so much better than guitarpedaldemos.com. So yeah, moving forward from last week, all the online episodes in full audio form will be at INTHEBLUESpodcast.com. Nice and simple. Recently, I went down to World of Music, my local guitar shop from my place, and I got to test out a whole lot of amplifiers, and I thought quite a few of you might be interested in my opinions and thoughts on some of these amps. So the first one I wanted to mention in this list is the Supro Royal Reverb amplifier. It's a bit of a tongue twister, that one, but yeah, it is amazing. It's got a power attenuator on the top, so you can go from 35 watts to 45 watts to 60 watts. It's really quite small, but it's heavy, and man, it is an awesome amplifier. It's one of the best I've played in recent times. It's fantastic. A lot of their amps, I think, are pretty much bone dry. They don't have a lot of reverb and trem and all that kind of stuff. This one has tremolo, probably the best tremolo I've ever heard on an amp, or very, very close to. And the reverb is as nice as my Super Reverb amp, my Fender one, so it's awesome. It's actually probably a fatter sounding amp than my Super Reverb, and it only has 210s, so this amp is really something else. I had a chance to play one a little while back that had a single speaker, no reverb, whatever. It was good, but I wasn't overly blown away by it. The Royal Reverb is an absolute ripper, and there's some demos coming up on the channel about them. If you've had a chance to either play or try one, go do it. I don't think you'll be disappointed. They sound insane. I was lucky enough. I was in a studio there. I could turn it up to basically full blast at 35 and 45 watts, and it was singing. No pedals, just straight amp tone. And man, I was a huge fan. So while I can't really afford to be going out and splashing money on a new amp right now, that will be arguably the next amp that I'll buy at some point in time, unless something else comes along. But it really sings. It's for 210s, it sounds super fat. It's super loud. It's got one of the sweetest, valve distortion tones once you start turning it up. And the other thing I love about it, it's really simple. It doesn't have 100 different options. You plug in, turn it up, and you're good to go. So the Super Royal Reverb amp is something worth checking out. There's no doubt about that. Another one of the amps I've been dying to test out, and I've had a million different requests to demo, is the Roland Blues Cube. So I got a chance to demo the Artist amplifier, which I think is 80 watts through a single 12, and it also has a power attenuator on the top, so you can flick it down to different wattages depending on if you're playing at home or doing a quiet sort of gig or a jam or whatever. And then it goes loud. It can go extremely loud. I would put it as loud as my PV Bandit. It's a very different sound to the PV Bandit though. I honestly don't think a lot of videos really did it justice on YouTube. I'm not saying mine will be any better, but what I'm saying is in person these amps sound fantastic. So sometimes when you mic up amps, you don't get the full, oomph of what you're feeling in the room. So I would keep that take that into consideration when, watching some demos on amps. It just doesn't, you don't really know how loud it is. I could say, man, that's really loud, but you sort of don't get a sense of it unless, of course, the microphones are clipping and spiking. I've had a lot of guys send me messages about this demo that's coming up basically through Facebook and so forth, and a lot of them changed the speaker. Some guys have put the Eminence Swamp Thing in the Blues Cube, and man, that would be an awesome upgrade. I didn't mind the stock speaker. I thought it sounded pretty good, but doing that would definitely be a good upgrade. So we've got some more amp demos on the way. There's a few others as well. I got to test some Vox amps as well as one of the new Blues Juniors as well. I got to do some comparison videos as well. So plenty of good content coming up on the YouTube channel. So keep an eye out. It'll be in the month of March this month. So yeah, loads of great vids coming up.